And so the conversation turned from the vision statement, meaning what is the ideal university, what is this future university that we all strive for, aspire to nurture today for those who will take over the baton from us in time to come. Conversation shifted from that to conversation about values. And that conversation can go far and wide. It can go deep and high. But four essential elements of that value statement began to become evident, began to become dominant in the conversation. And the first of these is the notion of imagination. The second deals with conversation. The third deals with regeneration. And the fourth deals with an ethical foundation. And so you can hear this dynamism and this flow and energy that we had sought to create in this new value system that we hope to, that we desire to, that we aspire to nurture over the many years and decades that will follow. And so you can hear the sounds as well. Imagination, conversation, regeneration, and ethical foundation. And so I want to particularly focus on this notion of imagination today. Much of the conversation behind imagination is a conversation about laying liberal foundations for a new university. Or put differently, developing and establishing our liberal foundations in the University of Johannesburg. Out of that comes the important idea of the notion, the practice of independent thinking. A university that's again worth its salt is a university that promotes independent thinking. No university that wishes to call itself an international university of choice can claim to be such an institution if thoughts are limited to, for example, official thinking. Official thinking coming from the state, coming from parliament, coming from the judiciary. These are received thoughts. That can't be the case of a university that claims to be a university of choice, and for that matter, an international university of choice. And so going with independent thinking is the important idea also, deriving again from the notion of a liberal identity or liberal foundation, liberal thinking foundation. Again is the very important idea of, on the one hand, being entrepreneurial and innovative, dynamic, constantly looking for new ways, new approaches to things. And that's what university is all about. That's what we expect from our academics in particular, but not just academics. All of us in management, in the professional and support services, the importance of independent thinking, innovative thinking, entrepreneurial nature. But there's a third dimension, and that is the notion of being cosmopolitan in our outlook, in our thinking, in our experience. We live in Africa's most cosmopolitan city, Johannesburg. And yet, that cosmopolitan character, more often than not, is practiced and lived in separate geographical settings. What we do in the University of Johannesburg is to bring all of that cosmopolitan identity into one space, onto 4 campuses, into one lecture hall, into one laboratory, into a computer center, into an office. And essential, therefore, for this vision statement of the university to be achieved, to be accomplished, to be nurtured, is the importance of living the notion of cosmopolitanism. Not cosmopolitanism or cosmopolitan identity practiced separately, and then we call it a cosmopolitan character. And this is what the University of Johannesburg offers us, the possibility and the opportunity to pursue day in, day out. It means that as an Afrikaner, it means that as a person that is rural, it means that as an international person, and so on and so forth, as a disabled person, right? And as a woman, right? As a person with a complex and a different sexual identity to what is received knowledge in this particular instance. It means that I need to express myself. I'm liberated. I'm in a liberal-minded space, not in a space of received thought or official thought. And so those are some of the essential dynamics or elements of this important first value of our value statement, which is imagination. And so imagine this university, this vision statement. Imagine this possibility that we have here. Independent thinking becomes our practice in thought as well, day in, day out. Cosmopolitan identity and openness, right, to different religions, to different ways of knowing, to different ways of doing. Right? That openness, that cosmopolitan identity, nurturing it day in, day out. Being innovative, being entrepreneurial, right? And in this manner, shaping the future dynamically. That in essence, or shall I say, in a very summative form, represents the conversation that we've been having about this first value called imagination.